you mentioned last night how impressed you were that Barrett Prettyman was probably one of the few, if not only, law clerks who actually served and worked with 3 justices. And then you immediately came back and said, I think Neal Rutledge, am the only guy to be shot at in the Supreme Court.
You're right.
You had everybody's attention, so tell me about that. Give us the story.
Sure, it's not a complicated story, and the only unique thing about it is the injunction of silence that Justice Black imposed because of his wife's illness. This happened maybe 2-3 weeks before she died, but she was she was at home, but she was under nursing care and was in bed. Somewhere around midnight, Sam Daniels had already gone home, so I was there alone, and the judge's chambers were out. Well, he had next to the Chief Justice, he was the senior justice, and he had a very nice suite of offices on the northeast corner of the building, which is the back side. And his office was the corner office with windows looking both ways. And then we clerks, Sam Daniels and I, were in the office next to him farther south. And ordinarily, if the judge were there and in his chambers, I would go out into the corridor and then go to the secretary's office and go in through the main entrance there. And that was the way we would do it if he was there. If he was not there, it was quicker and easier to just go from my office into the judge's chambers and then into the secretary's office where the files were. And I was headed in there, and I opened the door and switched on the light, and was about halfway to the door when this shot came through the window. And I don't know whether I heard it or felt the breeze or what, but it seemed like the bullet just went right by my head. And I hit the deck and crawled out of there, and immediately called down to the police, who were 2 levels down below where I was. And they immediately said, I think I've just been shot at. And they came running up there, and then they immediately sent somebody out in the by the side of the building there where the shot had to come from.
So this was a shooter out on the Maryland Avenue side?
Let's see, Maryland Avenue is, yeah, I guess it is, yeah, on the north side, yeah. I crawled in there and then called the police, and they came on up and then sent somebody out here, and they never found anybody. And then we called Black, of course, to warn him that somebody might be after him. And
in the dead of night or the next?
No, right then. Yeah, we called right then. Yeah, said that. I talked to him at the time too. Just said, I told him what had happened, and that a shot had come through the window, and it was in his chambers. And
they found a slug in the wall.
They found a slug in the wall. Yeah. And but his reaction, he was not alarmed that somebody was after him, which is what we all thought was not necessarily likely, but plausible and possible. But he was concerned about his wife, and he didn't want his wife to know anything about this, because he thought it would get her upset and would have a bad effect on her health and condition. So he didn't want anybody from the police force there to call in the local police force. And he didn't, and he enjoined me severely that he did not want me to say anything about this to anybody. I was to be completely mum about it. I don't even remember telling Sam Daniels about it. I'm not sure whether Sam, he must have known about it eventually.
Mm-hmm.
But the only thing that came out in the press about it was about 2 or 3 weeks later in the Washington Post. And I think it was on page 1 of the Metro section, not on the first page of the paper. And I was amused by the headline on the article. It said, "The shot that was not heard round the world." and then they went in and said, "Rumor has it that somebody fired a shot into Justice Black's office at night. And we can't confirm it," and so forth.
No arrests, no further developments.
Nobody, no, and so far as I know, nobody was ever arrested